I have mentioned on this channel several times that the Xeno series is my favorite franchise of all time, and that Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is my favorite of that franchise. Amazing combat, amazing exploration, amazing characters, yada yada yada. One day I'll make a full video thanking Monolith Soft for everything they've done like the shill I am, but today, for its 2nd anniversary, I want to talk about what I consider the best DLC, not just for an RPG, but of all time. How it adds to the already phenomenal world, some of the best characters the franchise has introduced, its improvements to combat and quality of life, and my favorite progression system in any RPG. Hi, I'm Aiden, and this is Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Future Redeemed. Going into Future Redeemed, I had very high hopes for its characters. They all had amazing designs, and the plot set up for them looked really interesting. And they delivered. I was of course hyped as hell for the return to my boys Rex and Shulk, all daddied up with really cute references to their mentors, Rex with one eye and dual wielding like Zeke and Van Damme, and Shulk missing an arm like Dunban. I adore the place they took their characters. Rex is more battle-hardened and quiet, while at his core still being the man who wants to protect the people and smiles he loves so much. His new voice actor, Fergus O'Donnell, delivers my favorite performance in the game. His gruffer delivery does so much for me.
If through my fighting, someone out there gets to smile, that's the kind of world I want to help create.
Adam Howden returns as Shulk. It would be sacrilege to have anyone else, but he's far more gentle in his delivery, showing how he's settled down since the events of the first Xenoblade.
That's an Equities pulse driver assembly. No wonder it's so pleasing to the ear. And melded with the cylinder. Perfect soldering technique.
As for their children, Nicole and Glimmer, they were fun, if very underdeveloped. That's probably my biggest gripe with this DLC. These two needed more screen time. Glimmer has an amazing design, and her being more like Mythra than Pyro was a twist I did not expect. And Nicole's adorable. I loved their interactions with their fathers, and they were both characters that could have used more development. But Matthew and A, two entirely new protagonists we've never heard of for this new DLC. I was not prepared to love these two as much as I did. Behind Rex, Matthew might be my favorite Xenoblade protagonist. His design is easily my favorite, clearly taking a lot from Xenogears protagonist Fei Fong Wong. So much so that I thought it was a reincarnation of him when the expansion was announced. The black ponytailed hair, angular face, and lack of a sword for a weapon gives him that distinction. But the new additions in the cropped orange and black jacket, and gauntlets that resemble a Monado, and cool-ass belt do a lot for me. His voice actor, Rory Alexander, fucking kills it, bringing to life the most aggressively British protagonist of the series. He's a lot more hot-headed and cocky than any of the other 3 protags, normally having to be talked down by A, while also being incredibly emotionally intelligent and easy to connect with.
It isn't your fault, A. I shouldn't have been dozing like a div. We could have helped you, friend. I'm sorry.
Speaking of A, God, they're gorgeous. Can I just talk about how cool it is that they're agender/non-binary? As someone who identifies as agender, it is so incredibly gratifying and cool having someone like you in your favorite piece of media. They're a phenomenal protagonist. Rosie Day's consistent deadpan delivery complements Matthew's hot-headedness perfectly. They're hilarious together.
Even the most impassioned speeches may fail to persuade.
Sounds like loser talk.
I believe you said something to that effect.
Did not.
Did too. Like yesterday? I guess words aren't getting through to them. Hey? You said it.
The role in the plot as Alpha's conscious was played to perfection. But I want to talk about the plot later. Right now, I need to talk about the gameplay of Future Redeemed and the amazing improvements it made to Base 3. So Xenoblade 3 is a massive game. Multiple areas with an insane amount of landmass and things to do. Great side quests, treasures to find, and bases to gain. The one problem is, sometimes it's a bit hard to keep track of everything you've done in those areas. Future Redeemed decides to fix this in the best way possible. Because Future Redeemed isn't just an RPG, it's a collectathon in disguise. That might sound like a bit of a stretch, but hear me out. This is what Xenoblade 3's map looks like. And this is what Future Redeemed's looks like. In a series that already heavily encourages exploration, outside of X, Future Redeemed encourages exploring every nook and cranny until the land is laid bare from your conquest. Every possible item, every possible boss, every possible NPC, every possible chest, it's all listed on the sidebar and across the map. And god, do I love this. Not only does it help me keep track of everything while still somehow keeping the UI clean, it's unbelievable how readable this still is. It looks like such a mess at first glance. It's also the main gameplay loop. See, Future Redeemed's progression is not only through level up. Clearing out all the parts of a thing on a map is called an affinity goal, and affinity goals earn you affinity points, and those affinity points then allow you to unlock new arts and skills. And this goes for every single goal: beating bosses, collecting chests, finding hidden areas, and clearing out enemy camps. Clearing out the map actively feeds back into the progression of your characters, so you're encouraged to explore and collect as much as you can so you may become an unstoppable god. It's a superb loop. Easily my favorite one in the series. Keeps my brain super satisfied by constantly giving me dopamine every time I collect anything at all, and works in conjunction with the already super well designed map spectacularly. Another thing I love about it is that in conjunction with this, Future Redeemed brings back for the first time since X, an enemy encyclopedia. For a series with so many unique and cool enemies, it's shocking this isn't in every one of the games. But I'm happy it's in this one. Now, this isn't the only improvement Future Redeemed made. Let's talk about interlinking, and why it kinda sucks. Interlinking is one of Xenoblade 3's many new mechanics. The idea of it is pretty awesome. Two characters fusing to create a giant mech made out of their souls is objectively cool as fuck. But I'm not a super big fan of how it's implemented mechanically. Xenoblade 3 has three main class archetypes: Attacker, Defender, and Healer. Healer is by far the most important, as they can provide buffs, healing obviously, and are the only class that can revive others when they're down. They're also just broken in general because a lot of healing classes also have insane DPS on top of their crazy buffs. Master Arts fully broke this game. So obviously, you really want to protect your healers so they can fulfill their role to the fullest. And this is where interlinking comes in. Interlinking makes it way too easy to protect your healers. If they're in any danger at any point, whether they be aggroed by the enemy, debuffed, or on low health, you can just interlink to save them, because while you're in your interlinked form, you are just completely invulnerable. Xenoblade 3 already isn't a game that's afraid to let you break it with how much it encourages you to experiment with different classes, art loadouts, and equipables. But interlinking breaks it in a way I don't really think is interesting or fun. Future Redeemed fixes this problem in two ways. The first is that it removes it entirely. Interlinking is dead, replaced by a duo super art that charges over time. I adore this change. It works exceptionally in Future Redeemed's favor, as you cannot change your party's class types. You are stuck with 2 healers, 2 defenders, and 2 attackers. It forces you to protect your healers and strategize much more. My favorite example of this comes from the first Alpha Niall fight. I played the entire game through on hard mode for my first playthrough, and Niall has this attack that puts you to sleep. And sleep is basically a death sentence on hard mode. That mash is ridiculously hard. But conveniently, there's a campfire shop that gives you anti-sleep protection gear. I gave them to A and Glimmer and was able to breeze through the fight. I loved this. It forced me to rely on the equipment I had on hand rather than just, I'm in danger, better interlink. I was rewarded for assessing my surroundings, why I was losing, and then adapting. As for how the characters play themselves, they shift pretty dramatically in both how fun and how good they are. Both of the defenders are horrendous, which is a bit sad. Shock's the only Xenoblade 1 character I enjoy playing other than Dunban, so him with 3's combat sounded like a dream, but he does no damage, barely draws any aggro, and when he does, he dies in an instant. Nicole is much the same, but this guy just does not die. He actually carried me through a few fights. It is okay. Wish their damage was a bit higher, but I love how they worked visions into their kit, and their animations are great. Glimmer is where the party really starts. I love playing as her, maybe my favorite support character in the series. Her buffs are satisfying to use, her damage is solid, and the fire aesthetic is amazing. Matthew is the most satisfying character to play in this game. Chaining together his powerful strikes feels like something exactly out of Xenogears, but not nearly as tedious. Backspin Punch would probably be the most busted art in this game if it wasn't for Rex. Holy shit, Rex. In my opinion, Future Redeemed's Rex is the singular strongest party member in the franchise's history. Yeah, Poppy, Cutie Pie, Fiora, Noah, and Cross exist, but none of those guys take anywhere near as little investment to get strong as Rex. See, Rex brings along with him the returning art Double Spinning Edge, a satisfying double-hit sword strike that does double damage if hit on the side of an enemy. In Future Redeemed, they changed this to recharge by 20 to 30% on crit, in a move that hits 4 times. So you just give Rex crit up in the affinity shot and any crit up item, and he becomes the strongest Beyblade in all of the land. It's fucking insane how quickly this becomes spammable. You will die because of it because of how much aggro you'll draw, but the enemy will be dead by then, so who cares? The amount of damage this does in chain attacks, Jesus fucking Christ. I sincerely cannot believe they left this in. I both love it and hate it, because on one hand, it's super fun becoming God's most powerful meat cleaver, but on the other hand, it breaks the game in a way I don't find super interesting. Thankfully, this isn't as much of the problem in boss fights, especially on hard mode. Seriously, Rex dies so quickly in those. Now, I've rambled on about this game's awesome cast, amazing exploration, and its great changes to combat. All that's left now is the story. Future Redeemed's story is the perfect kind of fan service. A great cast of returning and new characters, locations we all recognize that actually serve the story, and plenty of other references to previous games, all without actually interrupting the story this game is trying to tell. I've already mentioned I loved how Rex and Shulk grew up, but their influence on their kids, connection with A, and faith in Matthew is so endearing and exactly what I wanted out of all of them. The reveal of a dilapidated Colony 9 as our home base had me smiling from ear to ear once that iconic song hits. It's an amazing hub area, one of my favorite reimaginings in any game. And Black Mountain? Holy shit, this ruled. The trek up to Prison Island through it just genuinely gave me chills. An iconic set piece with so much to find on it. I can't stress enough how incredibly well designed every single area in this game is. It does not get enough credit. Now, this game is a prequel to Xenoblade 3, and prequels are intrinsically a lot harder to get into as we already know what's going to happen in the next game. But 3 intelligently left seeds of what this prequel would be about in the best area in that game, the city. When you arrive there, you are given a tour and shown 6 statues of the city's founders, and there's not much more elaboration after that other than that Monica is from House Van Dam. This instantly got everyone's mind racing. Who are the founders? What relation could they have to the rest of the cast? Where did they go? And Future Redeemed aims to answer all of these questions as the game follows them and the formation of the city. All the new context and the lore added to Ionia just fucking blew my mind. I'm not going to recap the whole story because I think you should experience it yourself if you haven't, but I do want to talk about one scene I loved. En's involvement alone adds so much to him as a character and makes his messed up goals even more justifiable after he Sephiroths his own hometown and son. But Sneaky Peddler released a phenomenal video analyzing that scene that if you haven't watched already, you absolutely should. And no, it's not the radio. I haven't played Xenosaga and I don't like Xenoblade X. I am not qualified to do that, despite its massive implication on the world and timeline of the Xeno series. No, what I want to talk about is their parting gift. A scene that I've seen reposted more times than I can count, but means such an incredible amount to me. Future Redeemed's final boss is already fanservice heaven. It does not hide the fact that it is essentially just Zanza, who is actually just Deus, again. His leitmotif is used, Alpha uses the Monado, he's defeated by the help of the third party member who also holds a manifestation of the Monado. It's amazing. But that final scene, after Matthew releases the power of Ouroboros, tells After to stop being such a nihilistic little bitch, and sends him back to the scrap heap, we have to say goodbye to Rex and Shulk. These characters we've grown up with, and this character we've grown to love. It feels like they're talking to us, the audience, as much as they're talking to the rest of the cast. Bad things, horrible things will keep happening, in your lifetime and after. And it sucks, and it's not fair, and most of the time, it's completely out of your control. But that's why we have to do the best we can to make things as good as we can in the time we have. We have to prop each other up, and when our life's final flame burns out, we pass on the ideals, intentions, and hope we'll leave behind. That's why I love Future Redeemed. That's why I love Xenoblade. It revels in what came before it, it celebrates everything they've achieved, and then cheers on what will come after. It revels in humanity, it revels in hope, it revels in love. It chooses to see clear as day there is good all around us, and that those ideals will triumph. And that if all you're doing is being as good as you can and helping others to smile and live their lives together, then that's enough. You are enough. Take care of yourselves, everyone.